All right, everyone, welcome back to part 2 of evolution. Welcome back to part Shala. So, yes, we are going to talk about today's second part of evolution. So, if you haven't still watched the part 1, I recommend you to go and complete the part 1 first, and then we can continue talking about the part 2. Alright, guys. So, in the last video, we had heard such an interesting story of evolution of human life. And I am going to continue it, but for the people who are new here, let me introduce myself again. I am Aditi Goyal. I'm a final year MBBS student. I have been teaching and mentoring students regarding biology and NEET preparation for the past 5 years. So I believe without a further delay, we should begin. All right. So the next stop in our interesting story is adaptive radiation. Do you see this Finch's diagram? Yes. These organisms are known as Darwinian finches. Well, they are pretty special. Didn't I tell you in the last video that Darwin was a fan of traveling, and in one of his travels, he went to Galapagos Islands, and there he saw these finches. And now you see, the process says that adaptive radiation means evolution of different species in a specific area starting from a point. What do they mean? Like in Galapagos Islands, Darwin saw that from one finch, that is the ancestor species, in the one area, in a specific area, different kind of finches evolved. Earlier, there was a seed-eating finch. Now you see in that image, there were so many kinds of finch. Warbler finch, tree finch, woodpecker finch, vegetarian finch, ground finch. So we had different kind of finches who came from one finch, the same ancestor finch. So yes, that is known as adaptive radiation. One ancestral species and multiple species adapted to different kind of niches. Why all these finches needed to come? Why only seed eating finch could not only survive? The reason is because the environment kept changing. We have learnt about Darwin's rule in the first video. Darwin says adaptation is required for survival. Nature selects the fittest, survival of the fittest. So yes, now not the seed eating finch were the fittest. Now we needed those who could crush the seeds, who could probe for the insects, who could eat insects and fruits as well, and those could survive better. And that led to survival of and evolution of so many more species of finches. All right, now I understand what is adaptive radiation. Now, let's talk about convergent evolution. In the last video, I had told about homologous evolution. That was a divergent evolution, right? I gave you one evidence of evolution. Now, let me give you another one. So, in convergent evolution, basically, when more than one adaptive radiation, we learned what is adaptive radiation. When from one ancestor species, different kind of species arise in one specific area, that is adaptive radiation. Now let's say in one place, a lot of adaptive radiations are taking place in an isolated area. That's when we call it convergent evolution. So basically, when a lot of adaptive radiation happen in a common island isolated area, what happens is all these unrelated animals, they keep on evolving in the similar forms. Yes, convergent means they are becoming similar, right? They're converging. So unrelated animals evolve into similar forms because when they are living into an isolated territory, all of them are facing same problems, all of them have same needs. So yes, they evolve into similar forms because of the similar needs. So yes, I have also shown you an example, the placental wolf and the marsupial Tasmanian wolf. Now, both of them were different species. They came from different ancestors. Yes, but later on they developed the similar morphological features because they had to survive in the similar kind of area. That is why they evolved same morphological features. Earlier they started with different morphological features, then they developed similar morphological features in order to survive. So yes, that is evolution. All right, this is becoming much, much, much interesting, right? Okay. Now I need to know, ma'am, now I believe in you that yes, evolution has taken place. You have given me enough evidences in the last video, this video, but now I need to know how did this happen? Well, let me tell you, there is a whole mechanism of evolution. And the interesting part about is we do not know the correct answer even today. There have been a lot of theories and it's still a prevailing debate today. But yes, there are few famous and promising theories that you need to know and we need to discuss. So first one and the most famous one is the Darwinian view. So Darwin had a view that evolution is slow. From the millions and billions of years, evolution has accumulated on small, small steps. It is gradual. He says that evolution is driven by minor but directional variations. Like, what do I mean by directions? All these changes are not happening drastically, that this time let's improve, this time let's do this. No. These changes are aimed at becoming only better. So that is what I mean by directional changes. That was Darwinian view. Now on the hindsight, we have another very countering view from scientist Hugo de Vries. Now, when one hand Darwinian says that evolution is slow, evolution is gradual, Hugo de Vries states that evolution is sudden. Yes, he says it happens in a single step. He also called it saltation. What does he mean by saltation? Single step, large mutation. So he says large changes come in one step. He says evolution, like Darwin says, is not governed by these small gradual changes. Evolution is driven by all the random mutations. So here Darwinian was saying everything is going directional, but he's saying it is random. These random changes, few of them get selected, few of them survive, and that is how evolution is taking place. And do you know, also Hugo de Vries also conducted some experiments on what organisms he conducted his experiments. These were the evening primrose plants, right? By the way, guys, do you know which scientist had conducted his experiments on Pisum sativum? Aha, Pisum sativum means the common pea you eat every day. Yes, let me know in the comment section. So yes, Darwin says, one theory of Darwin says that there have been gradual changes. On the other hand, de Vries says these are sudden mutations. Well, maybe future will tell us who was right. Okay, now let's talk about some mathematics. Yes, evolution is also a mathematical concept. So there is a Hardy-Weinberg principle that helps us understand this evolution process even better. So the equation is p square plus 2pq plus q square is equals to 1. You must have heard about in your mathematics classes. This is the binomial theorem. So basically, according to Hardy-Weinberg, this equation resembles or represents the genetic equilibrium. Now he said basically what they mean by genetic equilibrium is that all the alleles in a population should remain similar in the population. There will always be an equilibrium. Now tell me, do you see that happening? Throughout our discussion, that's what we have discovered. There is never an equilibrium. The proportion of species keeps changing. Maybe due to natural selection, maybe due to other factors. So yes, Hardy-Weinberg described that this genetic equilibrium is disturbed by 5 factors. First one is gene migration. Let's say from my population, some genes migrated to other population. So definitely my equilibrium will be disturbed. Or second one is genetic drift. Again, genetic drift also pretty similar to genetic migration, but migration refers to one or two or few of the individuals. Genetic drift means larger population shifting to another allele type. Mutation. Mutation are basically, as Hugo de Vries described, large random changes in DNA material. definitely that will change complete another whole species. So definitely that disturbs my genetic equilibrium. Genetic recombination. Now genetic recombination, whenever our DNA makes copies, there are some mistakes in it, and genetic recombination also creates different genetic material, so that also disturbs the genetic equilibrium. And finally, of course, the natural selection, the natural condition also pick up the people who are favorable to survive in it. So definitely that also impacts our genetic equilibrium, right? Also, do you see there are three graphs on the screen? So it shows three types of selection that Hugo de Vries talked about. First one is stabilizing selection. Basically, whenever the intermediate phenotypes are favored, like let's say there are tall individuals in the population, there are short individuals in the population, but what I see growing is the population of median height. So that is a stabilized selection, that intermediate phenotypes are growing more. Then second one could be directional selection, when my natural selection is deviating more towards a particular phenotype, when it favors one extreme phenotype, shifting the population mean or the average. Let's say in the tall and the short population and in the average heighted population, let's say my height is favoring more tall individuals. Maybe like let's say tall giraffes, because they can reach and eat the fruits. So my nature will favor them more. So I will see higher population of taller giraffes. So that is directional selection. And third one is disruptive selection. Disruptive selection is when it favors extreme phenotypes, both of the extreme phenotypes, and that leads to two distinct groups of population. Let's say my natural selection favors two kinds of population, tall population and short population, nothing in between. So either I will see tall people or I'll see short people, nothing in between. So that is disruptive selection, right? Okay guys, so yes, we learned so many interesting concepts in the story of evolution today. And if you want to keep learning more such interesting things, I will tell you about a great solution. If you are looking for a complete study solution that can solve all your problems, you definitely need to check out Pathshala. You know what? They offer one-on-one live classes, instant doubt solving, and also premium study materials that cover all grades and all boards. It's basically like having a personal tutor in your pocket. To get started, just download the app using the link in the description box. Search for the subject, anyone which you want to learn, and you know what? They will connect you with the best teachers in the country. Seriously, I recommend you go check it out. The link is in the comment section right below. Also, with this, I will finish the part 2 of the story, and we are still left with the part 3 of the story, where I'll see you in the next video. Until then, please subscribe, please share this video with your friends who would you believe like to hear the story of evolution. Please comment down your doubts, and yes, let's meet in the third video. Take care, all the best, and keep studying. Bye-bye guys.